Well, we are so glad to have today in our studio Mr. Pieter Vermeulen from South Africa. And he and his family are friends of Nagaland, and I believe Pieter has been coming to Nagaland since 2-3 decades ago. He and his family, and specifically his father, started to coming to Nagaland and reaching out to Nagas as well as Naga students all over India. So his father was the one who really mentored us when we were younger in places across India, like Naga students studying across Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, and so many places across India. And his father had a specific mission to reach out to our people for his glory, to call our people for his purposes. And so, continuing the tradition, I believe Pieter Vermeulen Jr. has been coming back to Nagaland so many years, and then we have had an interaction with him earlier. Remember, Pieter, nearly 9 years ago.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. I grew up in a Christian home. My father was a Baptist pastor in Cape Town, where I grew up. I went to school there, and I grew up in a very religious house. And I was really zealous for the Lord up to I became a teenager. And then I began to ask some questions about Christianity. And I look at the general Christians in our country, and I didn't see Christianity reflected in their lives. So I became really devastated with my faith, and I went through a real struggle. What is faith about, and why doesn't the people practice faith? And that causes me to turn my back on Christ, and I became very rebellious and really gave my parents a hard time. My father was a real man of God with lots of wisdom. He left me alone, and I think he understands the story in the Bible where the young man asked his father and he went his own way. My father left me, and I really honor him for that wisdom. He left me to go my own way. But he continued to pray for me. And in your country you call it 10+2. In my country we call it matric. I was having to make serious career decisions. But I knew God's calling was upon my life. And I had a big battle. Would I follow God's purpose in my life, or will I continue with my own plans? And at that stage I was very successful in sports. And doing very well in sports.
What kind of sports?
I was doing triathlon.
Oh.
I don't know if you know that kind of sports in your country. It is swimming. It's 1.5 kilometers swimming, then 40 k's running, and 40 k's cycling, and then 10 kilometers running.
Wow.
So I was doing that, and I was very successful. The Lord really blessed me with my sports career. And I was thinking of going into a sports career, going to the varsity. And then one of my father's friends, he was the youth leader at that stage, he invited me to a concert. And he told me it was a rock concert, but actually it was a Christian concert. So he got me and my friends to go to this concert, and as we was looking at this conference, the Spirit of the Lord really convicted me of my sin. And I became so convinced that I'm a sinner and that I need to repent. And I was one of the first people that went forward that night, and I committed my life to Jesus Christ. And that was a changing point in my life, not only by committing my life to the Lord, but also trusting Him to lead me into the career which He have called me. So I always know the Lord called me to take the gospel to those people who have never heard the gospel before. And I challenged the Lord because as a sports person there was lots of available funds for studying. So I challenged the Lord and said, if He will supply for my studies on a supernatural way, I will go and study theology. And I didn't talk to my parents really about it up to almost when the varsity started. So the week before the university start, I told my father that I want to study theology, and he was totally amazed because I never really shared with him the time I had with Christ and how He saved me. So he was really surprised, and I told him that I want to go to study theology. And he prayed with me, and the next morning somebody from a different country called, and my father shared with him that I've been saved, and this person said, but I will take responsibility and I will sponsor all his studies. So supernaturally the Lord supplied for me to go and study theology, and then I know that the Lord's hand was on this. And that is how I started my career as a missionary. I started with studying theology, And I enjoyed it very much. It was really, really enjoying for a time of my life. I was still competing in sport competitively, and then subjects like anthropology and missions really, really touched my life. And I started reading the stories of missionaries like Hudson Taylor and William Carey and all those great men, and it really stirred something in my spirit, which the Lord later used in my career. So that is how I found the Lord and started my career as a young theological student in South Africa. And I was very fortunate to have a father who really encouraged me. Whatever I did, he encouraged me as a person. So that built me, built my character as a young man, knowing that my father trusts in me, and that will help me to continue. And even and young people today, I see, especially young business people, if they do not have a strong coach or a strong relationship with their father, they seems not to make and be successful in life as those who have coaches in life. The vision the Lord has given me for the Himalaya region and specifically for Nagaland is to do two things. The one is leadership development and economic development. And the two needs to go together, because if people do not learn how to be leaders, they cannot lead society. The question I always ask people who say they are leaders, I ask them, where's your followers? You cannot lead unless you have followers. And the same is true of economic development. Unless we know how to lead an organization, lead a society, we will not be able to be leaders. And the vision God has given me is to implement values-based leadership. It means we lead by values. Values like integrity, respect, responsibility, accountability. It's really a part of taking the gospel to society, is raising up leaders in social society, civil society, to become effective in the marketplace. It is good that we have government, but to develop sustainable economic leaders who can be entrepreneurs, to develop the economy, the local economy, is very, very important for any developing country, especially in the emerging markets. So that is an area where I focus. My vision is to train not only leaders, but also to train young entrepreneurs, giving them business skills, how to run a business, what do you need, how do you keep accounting systems, not only to start a company, but also to sustain a company. It is interesting if you look at the Indian society, the Asian society, most businesses is run by families. So the children get those skills from their parents. Just like I got some of my skills from my parents, it was naturally for me to go into the ministry. But if we want to change the society, and we have a society where it's not run by a strong economy, run by family businesses, to change that society is very difficult. So that is where we really need to invest in leadership development and training young entrepreneurs. So that is which my heart, which I want to present to the people of Nagaland, to the government of Nagaland, to the church of government, is to invest in raising young entrepreneurs who can invest in the economy, to give back to the economy. So by raising many young people to become business leaders, you can really change a country in a few years. And that is the challenge of the time we live in the 21st century. The work for young people is becoming less, and unless we train people how to start businesses and run them, the jobs have become scarcer and scarcer, and we must create a new environment where we not only encourage people, but we go next to them, coaching them. And that is what the lessons I've learned from my years of being an athlete, is those coaching lessons. My coach walking with me, telling me what to eat, what not to eat, how to run, how not to run, how to swim. Those lessons I've learned over many years, and I apply that even in South Africa as a business consultant, coaching CEOs of companies, even young people, how to run a business. And that is what is my vision for the Naga people.
We have had an interaction with him earlier, so we're glad to have you today again, and we want to catch up. So Pieter, if you can kindly share what has happened over the past 9 years since we last talked.
Yeah, so I came to Nagaland in 2015 to look for some abandoned coffee farms, as I was searching for a way to develop an economy. So many Naga people I've met during the years with my father, they've got highly education, but there is no jobs in Nagaland, only government jobs. So as part of our Christian calling is not only to spread the gospel, but also to have an impact in society. So I heard that there's abandoned coffee farms, and I came here to explore the coffee farms, and that led to the coffee industry in Nagaland. So the government of Nagaland got involved. They started promoting coffee, and I developed some infrastructure in Nagaland to produce coffee. So of course it was quite a challenge, but that is what I've been mainly doing in Nagaland, is promoting the coffee business for the last 9 years.
Yes, that's actually very interesting, because earlier we had only tea, mostly tea, and it's only when our people also started going out and studying outside and getting a taste for coffee, I think. And we also heard about the coffee plantations which were started earlier, but it was not at all a success. It just failed. But it's so good that you came and observed in 2015, and something happened, I think. So were you able to work together with some local people and the government departments, right? Actually, if you can give an update from 2 years ago to now.
Yeah, so what is really encouraging is last week we had a meeting with the Business Association of Nagaland. And from the business perspective, it's really encouraging to see that there's today more than 1,000 people that farms coffee, and there's so many cafes that spread up where people are drinking coffee. So Nagaland became a coffee drinking country, and coffee industry have created many opportunities for young entrepreneurs to be involved, and that is really such an encouragement for me to see that the industry have impacted the economy. To think of that, a tea drinking country, rice farmers converting into coffee farmings, and coffee really has the impact to change the country's economy. If you study countries like Ethiopia, Burundi, Uganda, poor countries in Africa, that's now becoming leading economic countries in Africa, because they have embraced coffee as a major economy. So that is really, really encouraging.
Yeah, at the same time, just the pandemic 3 years ago, a lot of our young people came back home, and then they started a lot of cafes, and along with it, the taste for coffee. So coffee is, I should say, becoming very popular, and almost everyone is now taking coffee. And so what do you think about the quality of Nagaland coffee and the potential for within the country and outside?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that. So when we first exported coffee in 2016, and that was a big challenge because it's old coffee trees, and for instance we would buy raw coffee, about 11 tons, and then after we processed the coffee, we would only have 3 tons that was worth exporting. So the beginning days was quite tough because we had made great losses, but we encouraged the farmers. We just bought everything, and through the years we've managed to build one of the best mills in Northeast India, in Nagaland.
Mills?
A mill, yeah, that processed the coffee.
Okay,
So coffee is a very technical product. You cannot just, you need to understand it, and through the years I've trained many farmers on the technicalities of coffee. So it's a new farming product, and there's a lot of training that still needs to be done. But as I look back where we were to where we are today, I can see so much growth. So 2021 we won a silver medal on the world platform for coffee. It means the coffee is reaching potential. And then 2023 we won a gold medal, which means it is up to international standards.
Wow. So what exactly was that medal, gold medal?
It was for a washing station. It was for the quality and the taste of the coffee.
Okay.
But
Nagaland coffee.
Yeah, but to explain, I need to explain
Right.
the process. So out of the 9 tons we received, only 300 kilos was up to that standard. So it is important to understand Nagaland has the potential, and if people invest in the right processes, and coffee got 33 processes, and you need to follow them very strictly, then you get the good results. So the potential is there, the coffee trees is there, and I believe it can really make a huge impact on the young people. One thing that coffee also does, it promotes community. Coffee shops are known for places where you go and visit, and like in my country, 80% of business meetings takes place in coffee shops. So people don't meet in an office, you go outside, you drink coffee. Coffee stimulates your brain capacity, and it is nice to go out. So with that, I think it can create a good community culture where people...
Even here, people are beginning to meet in cafes.
Yeah.
That's right, very true. And perhaps I would request messages from you for specific people, in the sense you are dealing now with the coffee farmers, the entrepreneurs, and also perhaps with the government people. So message for entrepreneurs, for farmers, and for the government officers, right?
Yeah. So
based on your observation all these years.
Yeah, I love the farmers. One thing about the farmers in Nagaland is their work ethic. They're really hard-working people, and that breaks my heart that so many farmers are really struggling financially, especially in the remote areas. And they've taken up coffee farming, and these people are really sincere, hard-working, and if they keep being faithful, they will present good results.
They are from different districts of
different
Nagaland.
Districts, yeah. So all the districts have planted coffee, and what I've seen is the farmers that stay on the farms, they produce the best coffee. There's some people that have farms but they don't stay on the farms. They put workers in the farms, they not necessarily produce good quality coffee. So for the farmers, it is a ticket for sustainable development. And go for training. It is not an easy product because you don't drink coffee, you don't understand quality. It's not like you just pluck an apple and you sell it. There's specific processes. So go for the training. There's a lot of training that happens all around you. For the entrepreneurs, I would really say I'm proud of you to see that people who had no opportunity develop coffee shops. We just spent time with a local coffee shop that is well known, and I was so encouraged to see his zeal and the way he is inventing ideas, because he don't have access to modern techniques. He is developing his own techniques and doing really he's in the forefront in the markets in Nagaland. So I see there's a lot of entrepreneurs. I see there's a lot of ladies coming forward taking up coffee shops, which is really, really encouraging. Hard-working people taking initiative. So that encourages me the most. From a country where there was only government jobs, people are taking up coffee as a livelihood. And I want to encourage these entrepreneurs, go for it, live your dream, expand your horizons. There's a lot of opportunities. Get your friends to drink coffee, innovate, and go for your God-given talents. One of the first characteristics of God is a creator God, and God has implanted in us that ability to create a dream. Go for your dream, get realization for your dream, and establish something that can be amazing for your community. And for the government, you've done a great job. You have promoted the coffee. Stand with your promises you make to the farmers. Keep your word to the people. Don't exploit them, and be honest in your workings. So that is my message. Another
thing for the entrepreneurs, like I said, after the pandemic, there has been a mushrooming of cafes and many cafe owners, and so again we may think that there's too many cafes now, So in one way, like it's encouraging, and they are also really earning. But is there, besides being a cafe owner, like being a coffee entrepreneur, are there any other avenues how they could earn money for their livelihood?
There's a lot of opportunities. I can only speak on behalf of coffee, but the moment you get into a mindset and you work among other entrepreneurs, something amazing happened. So work with other people who have ideas and co-create ideas. So when you're among people that is depressed, you become depressed. If you're among people who are lazy, you become lazy. So I've last week, the beginning of this week, I spent time with BAN, the Business Association of Nagaland, and they are really promoting coffee as an economy. So spend time with other entrepreneurs, and then you will be amazed to see the new ideas you come up. I've seen some amazing products come out of Nagaland, and it is good. There's a lot of talent that needs to be developed, and the economy is growing in India. More and more people are looking for products from Nagaland. Now Nagaland has got a unique opportunity in the world. It's one of the very few people that still have good tribal roots, strong family values, hardworking culture, beautiful people, natural forest. It's the only virgin forest left in the whole of Asia. So the potential of developing things in Nagaland is immense. There's no end of what you can do. Grab opportunities, work hard, and be part of an entrepreneurial community, and hold yourself accountable. If you have a vision, fulfill your vision, align your vision, try many things. Remember, to fail is not make you a failure. Failure is just, oh, I cannot do it in this way. I invent other ways.
You mentioned that it's really true that the economy of India is growing by leaps and bounds, and we in the Northeast are far away, but we don't want to be left behind. So as an observing person from far away, what other avenues or what kind of advice would you give for us to partake of the booming and growing Indian economy? Specifically for BAN, Business Association of Nagaland, and we being also entrepreneurs. I'm also a member of BAN, and so what kind of advice would you give for entrepreneurs to be able to connect with other entrepreneurs of India and then participate in the booming Indian economy?
So one thing is to follow your passion. If you're passionate about something and you put your energy into that passion, that will transpire into the person using it. So I met a girl who made lassi in Dimapur, and she's so enthusiastic. And when I tasted the product, it tastes different than all the other products because she's enthusiastic. She's excited about the product, and that energy transpires into her product. She's very, very proud of her product. Her packaging is different than the other people. So be proud and go for excellence. In the world out there's a lot of competition, but there's so many opportunities. And look for avenues where you can be creative, develop a unique product. Don't do what everybody is doing. Spend time brainstorming and developing your product, and the more time you spend in developing your product, the better it will be. It's like a building. If you want to build a high building, you have to dig deep into a foundation. So spend a lot of time in planning. What will be the quality of your product, what will be your product, and how will you market the product. Do that research very thoroughly, and then you go and you don't stop. Keep doing until you succeed.
Have a great passion for whatever it is that your calling is, your business is. Develop it creatively. Be involved with a segment of people who are going ahead together, right? Anyways, one is the mindset of our people also. Many of them are focused only in locally, and then somehow the older people, the younger people are looking more ahead also, but in a sense it's all a mixed bag. And so how could we also look forward or open our eyes further, to be able to do things with high quality, with passion, and with creativity, and reach out.
You see, with the global world opening up, there's no end to where you can sell your product. When I started my career, I had a mentor who was an elderly gentleman, and he asked, "What are you passionate about?" And I told him what I'm passionate about. He said, "Don't search for money. You will get money, and at the end you'll just have money. But if you lose your passion, you will be in a dead end." So I've been following my passion my whole life. I'm extremely enthusiastic. When I wake up in the morning, I don't think, "Oh, I must go to work." I said, "I'm going to do today what I love the most." And that is why I'm in the coffee industry. I am passionate about coffee. I will taste coffee until I have so much caffeine in my life that I shiver, but I will follow my passion. And I've got many other passions. and I follow my passion, and eventually, because I'm passionate, people feel the passion I have for my product, and then they start buying my product. So don't chase money. It will lead to a dead end. If you sell your soul to the system of I must get money, you'll end up very discouraged. Follow your passion, follow your talents, and ask for wisdom. We as believers have inaccessible ways in which we can come into God's presence and say, God, give me the wisdom I need. So ask God to give you something that He wants you to do, and follow that passion, and you will see money will come to you.
Finally, before we complete this time together, would you have anything to say for the young people of Nagaland?
Yeah, the people of Nagaland they've got a uniqueness that you don't find anywhere in the world. They are very enthusiastic. They're loving people. It's a beautiful nation, and don't feel intimidated by the rest of the world. Go and explore the world. Follow your dreams. I know people say follow your dreams, but really have a follow for your dreams. But most of all, see God, because if you have God, you have access to everything. God said He has given us everything we need. So your greatest desire which should be to seek your Creator, because if you have your Creator, He will guide you. He will lead you on paths that you can't even imagine. So love God, spend time with God. Don't think it is something you go to do in church. It's the most adventurous path is to follow God, because God opens doors and He closes doors. And the closer you are to God, the more you'll be able to hear His dream for you. And God's dream for you is the best dream. He has given you talents, He has given you time, He's given you treasures, He's given you energy, He's given you health. And use that. And in your search for God, God will say He will never leave us, and He will never fail us. So the more closer you are to God, the more time you spend in His Word, the more time you spend in prayer with Him, the more you'll discover His heart. And God, once He opens doors for you, no one can close it.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Peter. We wish you all the best in your business endeavors, and also your ministries and your various sharing everywhere. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.